Hello all and welcome to my channel. This is Love After Lockup, Season 6, Episode 2, titled Free My Man. And very appropriate because the amount of times we heard that this episode. Anyways, I didn't do a review for Episode 1. I'm hopping into this show watching Episode 2. So if there's any prior knowledge that I should have on these couples, I didn't go back and watch the first episode. So we're just going to start with this episode. Let's begin with Kiana and Demadric. Oh, by the way, I just want to start off by saying that I think the two top people who are going to piss me off this season, and just because I think that they're the most brain dead, are Joey and Michael. Joey's a mess. You're with somebody that you pretty much know is likely to relapse, and you're okay. And then number 2 would be Brooklyn and Brian. Brooklyn's an idiot. And I feel like her brother Jeremiah was the only person with sense at that table while everybody else was giggling and, I guess, encouraging her behavior. Ciao. But we'll get to that soon. Okay, so Kiana and Demadric. So, her and her dad are driving to pick him up. It's the day of release. They're waiting. They finally meet each other. And this is this long-ass scene with her hopped up on him. I'm like, can you guys get down? Act like a bunch of freaking kids. Like, I get it. But just like hop off that man, please. Yeah, so they're hugging, they're embracing each other, la-di-da-di-da. This is the dad meeting Demadric. He seems like I guess if I was in the situation, I would want my dad to support my decisions, but because I was gonna say like he's a cool dad, clearly, but who just got out of jail. Okay, whatever, we move along. So he's meeting the dad. Soon thereafter, they're riding in the car, I guess on the way to the location to get his ankle monitor on, because he's gonna be on house arrest to, I guess, finish the rest of his sentence before he enters parole. So they're driving, and then they get to the place. Kiana and her dad are waiting outside in the car. The time's passing by. Apparently it took them 2 hours before he came out of the building. This girl's gonna say, I'm gonna go inside and let them know that we're here. Maybe they don't know I'm here. And then what? What's gonna happen? You're gonna walk in there and be like, yeah, so I'm waiting for my man. Girl, sit your ass back in the car. But no, so she walks up to the building and then somebody comes out talking about they're his counselor and that he's actually going to be staying today. He's not coming back home. I'm not going to lie, I started laughing. Because then this is her, and then I'm just like, ooh, girl, this is just a foreshadowing of what's to come. You have no idea. That whole, I don't know. I guess out of all the couples, it seems like he is like pretty I don't even like to say this because you never really know these jailbirds and their true intentions. Not saying that anybody in jail doesn't deserve love, but I don't think that should be your first priority while you're in or just getting out of jail. So all of that aside about what I believe, he seems like he's like interested in her thus far. Okay. The bar is in hell because we're talking about relative to the rest of the couples, but like out of all the couples, it seems like he at least is like interested in her. But yeah, when I saw this scene of her when she got back home without her man, I said, girl, these tears are foreshadowing. Next up, we have Savannah and Bradley. Childish couple. Okay, so she picks him up and they're on their way home. She kind of just sprung it on him that he was going to be meeting with her mother today. Apparently, him and the mother got into an argument a couple of months back, so he's not really sure what to expect. But yeah, I don't know. Like when they got home, the mom was super excited to see him. So I don't know if he was just anxious or if he was doing too much because she seemed overly joyed to have him there. So whatever. Later on, because they take the stuff upstairs. So she's talking, Savannah, in the confessionals about how she's always struggled with her body image and how she's gotten work done. She got gastric bypass before, I believe she said at 21. She used to be overweight, so she got gastric bypass. And then she also recently got, was it lipo or a tummy tuck that she said? And she said there's still work to be done. You know what I wish people who have body issues would also do? Go to the gym. It does wonders for your mental state. Like after you start going to the gym for a week, I'm telling you, there will be a change in your attitude. And it stops being a drag after like a week or two. You start looking forward to going. And it builds up your confidence really well. People underestimate it. But yeah, she's a pretty girl. The reason I bring this up is because it's kind of sad because she's talking about she has more work to do. And then when they're laying in bed here, he's talking about, oh yeah, you know, her body has changed and she's not on drugs anymore. So now she's at a healthy weight. And you know, when you're 5'5" and when you're 5'4", 150 sits kind of on your body. Like, I'm just sitting here like, damn, I'm obese. Because I'm about 5'4" and I'm like 160. But I digress. This is not about me. So we go back to it and I'm just like, oh girl, you have no idea, once again, that your heart is going to be crushed because you're so excited to lay beside your man and he's talking about your body. And I could understand, though, when he was talking about, like, sex isn't really the first thing on his mind. And you know, these editors play around with things, so they might inject a scene where it wasn't originally. So I don't know if he said that in, after she said she wanted to, like, or made it known that she obviously wanted to be intimate with him, that he said he wasn't interested in sex, or if just, like, in general, because he came out of prison. You know, they're not into intimacy. Not all of them, but some of them, like, intimacy and that, they still have to work on that part of themselves. So I got that part, but I said, oh, girl. One good thing, though, is he has work lined up, and he's said he's going to be starting back at his construction job in 3 days. I feel like people who get out of jail, prison, do deserve, like, a couple days or weeks off. Like, even if it's just a month. I mean, it's good. I'm not even going to, like, say anything about it because, like, how am I going to argue? We always see the people on these shows not have jobs and the partner who hasn't been to jail is stressed because how are they going to pay bills? And then here you have somebody who does have a job lined up. So it's good, but I just feel like... But I guess that shows ambition, so I'm not going to knock it. Lord. Next up, we have Joey and Michael. Hot mess. As I mentioned before... Joey is the top of my list for this season for who I think is going to piss me off because he just seems really, really smitten. Like, he has stars in his eyes. Hearts, I should say. He has hearts in his eyes for Michael. He's telling us how they used to get high together and they were addicts together, but then he suddenly thinks they should be together. I'm like, all of this trauma, dependence, you guys already have a toxic past. You shouldn't be jumping back into the same relationship that was so built on trauma before. I don't know how this is gonna go, but yeah, so he picks him up. Joey picks Michael up, gets him a fresh pair of clothes. I thought that was nice. I always think about people having to stay in those icky clothes until they get back home. Yeah, so he picks him up. He gives him a phone. And then Michael gets irritated because pretty much Joey had erased all of his contacts from his phone. Joey's asking him, well, why do you need your contacts? And he's like, you know, trying to play it off. But then when the producers ask or whatever, he's saying, you know, so I can pretty much go get my hit without getting caught. He needs his old contacts. And I'm just sitting here like, see, Joey, while you're swooning over his body, this man's already thinking about getting his next fix. Tragic, but yeah, I don't know. Joey and he's 48. Like, please grow up. I feel like at a certain age, the fairy tale needs to start wearing off. Like, Lord have mercy. Lord. We'll see, but there wasn't really much with those two. I can just tell it's going to be a hot mess, though. First day out, you're already talking about getting a hit. Enough said. Okay, and then next up we have Brooklyn and Brian. As I mentioned, Brooklyn is the person number 2 who's going to piss me off the most. Because, girl, when she was sitting down at this dinner with her brother and her friend, and maybe her cousin it was, I was irritated the whole time. Mommy, 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 mommy. I said, oh my God. Like, guys, I don't know why I torture myself watching this show. Anyways, so they're sitting down, they're having dinner or whatever, and pretty much her brother Jeremiah is the only one who speaks up and is asking all the questions and things that she clearly has not asked herself, and she's getting defensive. You know, people get defensive when people bring up legit questions and concerns that they may have about a obviously stupid situation. And I hate also when people bring age into it, because there is a point where she's talking to her brother and she's talking about, I'm the big sister and pretty much you should listen to what I'm saying. And I'm like, yeah, but you're also the one dating the felon. So immediately, age out the window. He clearly has more sense. He's asking her questions. Is he gonna get a job? She's talking about blah 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 blah. I want to have kids with him, and I'm just like, oh my god. And I don't mean, and I hope nobody who's been to prison is watching this and I offend them with this next statement I'm gonna say, but it's just a thought that always pops up when I think about prison people. Prison people, people who have gone to prison. All I think about is prison peen. And when I think of prison peen, all I think about is hard water, crunchy soap. Like, you know when a bar of soap is like towards the end and the edges start to get thin and it's like crispy and it can break apart. I think about that soap, and that being what they've been lathering themselves up with for the past how many years. I think of STDs. I'm sorry. And women are unsafe too, obviously, but we know how men get down in the real world outside of prison in terms of protection and or lack thereof. No one's gonna lead me to believe that in prison people aren't sucking things and licking things and taking things. All I think about is like no condoms, STDs, crunchy soap, hard water, and just like I need you to at least, we need to swing by the Dollar Tree and get you like a toothbrush, because you've been using that one piece of toothbrush for months and it can just, the plaque build up, and we need to get you a tongue scraper, like, girl. So when Brooklyn's here talking about this man, my man, I'm just like, ugh. What's wrong with all the ladies on this show? But yeah, she got irritated at her brother and he was pretty much calling her out and like, you're getting upset because I'm asking questions and you know what it is. This whole thing is just a hot flaming mess. Can't see what's to come. Oh, and another thing, I'm just like, is it me, or were you guys thinking this as well, that it's kind of giving delusional on her end? Like when she was talking about, oh yeah, I've known him since high school, and I would be wearing my purple lipstick and I would give him a kiss and he would have no choice but to walk around with my purple lipped kiss on his cheek. And I was just kind of like, I don't know, the shady music that they were kind of playing. I'm like, it's giving, we've seen so many of these couples that went to high school, Melissa, Louis, these couples that went to high school together, and there's kind of like a delusional, like, he was my crush in high school, now he's in prison and now I'm his girlfriend, and so like we're gonna have this fairy tale. It was kind of given that. I can't wait to see his interaction with her, because she, out of every woman on this cast, was really my man heavy this episode. We'll see. Now, on to our next favorite throuple. And since they're a throuple, I just thought I'd combine their pictures, because why not? Okay, a mess. So Alexis had drove to pick him up. She was excited. She's standing outside waiting for her man. All of a sudden, one of Julius's, is it brother-in-law? Julius has a sister, and the sister's husband, this was him. So he came to also meet up with Julius outside of the prison. Homegirl was not happy. Alexis was pissed. I was just like, girl, you have to know that this man has other people in his life that want to see him. She said it was like weird. I don't know if she meant Julius set it up and didn't want to be alone with her, or if she felt like the sister, Julius's sister, had sent her man to kind of keep an eye on like Alexis. She said it was like weird. I don't know. I'm like, girl, you're not the only one in his life. Yeah, so, and then all of a sudden, another friend pulls up, and I'm just like, oh god, if she hated one, she's really gonna hate two. She's there, stank face, standing there, pissed off, and I'm like, yeah, well, turn that frown upside down, girl, because they're not leaving. So they wait, he comes out, I was like, oh, nah, he's shady, he's gonna be shady. You know why? Because he's a pretty dude. Can't be trusted. Immediate red flag. I don't want to judge people, but as we see coming up, he is to be judged. Yeah. Pretty much, he's been talking to Alexis this whole time. Alexis is in love. La 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 la, she loves her man. She has no idea that this man has also been talking to Ashley. So they're kind of hopping back and forth between these two. Ashley's in a store with her friends trying to, I guess, get decorations to throw him like a welcome home type of party. or whatever. And she's just talking about, yeah, I want to have kids with him. I want to do this. I want to do that. And the girls are like, slow it down already, girl. Like, you have to do this the right way. She just looks overeager and slow. Everyone on this cast is slow, but she just overeager. I said, girl. But anyways, back with Alexis and Julius. This is so cringe. I just need women to wake up. This girl, when he comes out, she gives him a new phone. He's like, right. Does this man immediately, because the guys that came, the brother-in-law and the friend, they wanted to take him, was it to lunch? Y'all would have thought I watched this last week, the way I can't remember some of these details, but they wanted to go out to lunch with him or something, or wherever. And they said that he was going to go in the dude's car. And then obviously Alexis wanted him to drive with her in her car. But he went with the dude and she's like, fine, whatever. She gets in the car. She's pissed. I'm not going to lie. I would be mad too. I drove here for you. I'm your girl. Why can't your guy friends have you on the second day, kind of? I know I said earlier you're not the only one that's like going to want to see him. But I did think it was kind of dismissive for him to just be like, yeah, so I'll see you later, babe. At home. Do him and the guys, can we already tell where this is going? It's giving that they're going to swing by the store where Ashley is. And I'm like, so you left her to go be with your other... Even in the confessional, when he was talking about Alexis and the producer was like, what about Ashley? And he's going to be like, oh, yeah. And I'm just like, oh, God. And this is why I said, even though the bar is in hell, I'm talking relative to the entire group, and it really does seem like Demadric is, like, the most, like, I actually like you. I'm not even saying that he's, like, gonna be faithful or anything. I'm just saying he seems like the one that's, like, I actually like you. The other couples are just giving, like, I needed to pass my time in prison. I mean, I'm not saying that Demadric wasn't like that, too, but I'm, like, for instance, like, Bradley doesn't seem like he likes Savannah. I don't know what's gonna happen with Brooklyn and Brian. And then Alexis, Julius, and Ashley. Obviously, he likes Ashley more. And then Joey and Michael. Michael is not concerned with Joey. That man wants his fix out of his own mouth. Brooke and JK. This whole episode was so awkward. So they're going to be picking up JK. And so they're going to need to share a hotel room. Brooke and JK's mom. That was so awkward. One bed, one single bed. When they said single bed, I was like, excuse me? Like a single bed, like the skinny bed? But then they went inside and it was like a double bed or a queen bed. They just meant single as in one. And I was just like, oh, we'll say that next time. But either way, it was weird. And the next day, the mom's like, I'm going to have the first hug or whatever. And then Brooke was like, you're going to have to run faster than me. And I was actually, I'm not going to lie, I was actually waiting to see that scene. I wanted to see if like Brooke pushed the mother over in an attempt to get to JK first. But we did see his release this episode, so we're going to see it next week. And that was the end of the episode. What did you guys think? These people are all crazy. I do like, though, when they choose people who, I guess I'll just say struggling with their mental. It makes for way more entertaining TV. Let's just sing a song, hold hands, and pray to get through this season together. But thank you guys for listening to my review, and I will catch you next week with episode 3. Bye!